Hey, this is Steve from On the VertiGO, and I have a special guest that I wanted to have a chat with tonight about my Meniere's disease. This is Ed Casias. We've been good friends for going on 18 years now, and he's stood by me through my trials and tribulations with my disease, and he's one of the only people outside my immediate family that has seen me have a vertigo attack. And for all the people out there, I wanted him to just tell his side of what it's like to have a friend with Meniere's and what it was like to see me have a vertigo attack and the impact it has on our relationship. Because I think it's very important for people to see this third person perspective on what I go through and what he has to go through with me. So Ed Casias, my good friend.
Well, first of all, Steve, I want to congratulate you on your trip and wish you the best. I think it's great that you're bringing attention to Meniere's disease and the impact it has on people. Although it's a fairly uncommon disease, I actually know 3 people who have suffered from it. And one has passed, not from Meniere's, but from another illness. But the other 2 that I know are Steve and another friend of mine, both active men who had this come on them in such a quick way that it really changed their lives in a lot of different ways. And they went from being active and independent to sort of being at the whim of the disease and some of the unexpected turns and trials that come with it. The one thing that I will note here in Summit County from the 2 friends that I have is the barometric pressure plays a huge role on these 2 and their ability even at times to get out of bed, because if a storm's coming in, and in the winter we get a lot of them, the change in barometric pressure affects their inner ears and really puts them in a position where they can't go to work. Sometimes they can't even get out of bed. And you know, that's something that if you don't have it or you don't experience it, it's really hard to fathom. How can a storm coming in makes it so that someone can't get out of bed and go about their day? It seems contradictory, especially when they're active people as they are. And I am grateful that they continue to be active and they haven't let the disease take over and control their life any more than it does just from the biological perspective. The thing that was really startling to me when Steve had his vertigo attack, we had him, his wife, and his 2 brothers over. It was New Year's Eve. We were watching Ohio State, I think, play in a bowl game. And Steve came over. He wasn't feeling well, but he didn't want to not have fun. And he came over. He was lying on our couch right across from me, watching the game. And all of a sudden, he just said he had to go. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if that meant that he was nauseous. I didn't know if it meant that he just wasn't feeling well and wanted to get home. But when he said he had to go, I think he knew that the beginning of a vertigo attack was coming, and he was hoping to actually get out of the house before it hit. And it didn't happen that way. It was amazing for me to see someone completely incapacitated, unable to move, unable to sit up, unable to talk, unable to do anything. He was just lying there, and he wanted to get up, he wanted to go to his car, and he couldn't move. So his brother and his wife helped him sit up, and they practically had to carry him out. And it wasn't a carry in the sense of, you know, put your arm over my shoulder and we'll help you walk out. He could not stand up. He couldn't get his feet under him. It was almost like a cartoon character where the legs are just like flailing and going opposite directions. And there was just no solid base at all. And they got him up and his brother is much bigger than him and did most of the heavy lifting to get him out of the house. But it was really painful to watch because I had never seen anything like that. And it was sad. It was truly, truly sad to see someone so unable to do anything. He was crying. He didn't want it to end that way. He didn't want his night to end being carried out by his brother and by his wife. He didn't want to have anyone see it, because although helpless in the sense of your physical capabilities, I don't think it affects your mental capabilities in the sense of you don't forget what's happening. And so he was living in the now, totally dependent, and heart-wrenching for him. Embarrassing is probably a way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Being humiliated by having someone you know see you that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't brought on by anything. He had not been feeling well that day. It's not like he had overindulged in any beverages. He hadn't had anything to drink, and it looked like he was sloppy drunk, is a way to describe it if you've ever seen anyone like that who can't take care of themselves. So they got Steve into the car and they drove him home, but they had to carry him from the car into his house, because it's not something that comes and goes that quickly. And I can't imagine ever having something like that happen, because you think you're always going to be in control. You think that your body won't fail you in that way. And when it did, it was frightening and sad to see. So I'm glad that you're taking the time to share your story. I'm glad that you're taking the time to put in your energy and get the message out about this disease, because I'm sure if you ask, you probably know somebody that has it, or know somebody that knows somebody. It's more common than I would have ever thought. So I wish you the best on your trip. I know that it will be an adventure. I know it will be a challenge. And I hope that during the trip you don't have any of the side effects that come with this disease, and you're able to navigate your way safely along the route that you've chosen. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Wish you the best.
Ed and me hang out quite often, and when you have a friend that good, it's special, because he listens to me as I listen to my body, and there's times where we've wanted to do things and I've had to cancel plans multiple times, and he's always understood and he's always been sympathetic. So I just hope all you guys out there have friends as good as, and family as good as I do, because this is something that's horrible to go through alone, and you always feel alone. So when you have good friends that understand what you go through, appreciate them, and get out there when you can get out there and have fun. And if they're a true friend, they'll understand if you say, I can't do it, or I can't go, or I got to cancel, or I need help. You know, don't be embarrassed. It's very embarrassing, but don't be embarrassed, because if you have a friend like Ed, that's gold. That's worth more than all the money on the planet. So Ed, I appreciate your friendship, and thanks for doing this spot for me.
My pleasure, and thanks for asking me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Steve, on the VertiGO. I'm out.